Is the NFL product a good one? Is this year's NFL seem a little boring to you? Does it seem a little uninteresting to you? This week especially. I'll get into that. Welcome back to another video, NFL Reaction Week 11, as we break down all of the games and more that have come from this weekend. Hopefully, you're all having a great Monday, and here's your final take on this week in the NFL. Alright, first off, these are my three big takeaways from this weekend. Number one, Zach Wilson's post-game comments, how terrible those were, and how he cannot accept blame and how this affects the Jets locker room, as well as a major L to what was a W for the Vikings. We'll get to that, and then we finish off with the state of the NFL. We're week 11, we're almost done with the season, we're almost in the playoffs, and maybe I'm the only one that have noticed this NFL season getting a little drowsy. As well as we'll look at some over and under reactions so far, some statements, and then we'll take a look at around the NFL. First off and foremost, though, let's talk about Zach Wilson. So Zach Wilson played the Patriots, and let's say that game was just one of the more of a snoozer game of the week, and the offenses just could not get anything going. Both teams scored a field goal, and the Patriots won with a walk-off touchdown, which was a great play, but both teams were pretty terrible during this game. I mean, both offenses couldn't get going, but one good positive about the Patriots versus the Jets game was the fact that the defenses were just completely on point. The defenses held up everything else. I mean, nothing else played well whatsoever. I mean, the defenses stunk. The offense was the only real positive, I would say. And with that all said, I will put everything else that I've said on the back burner. If you're a quarterback who just lost the game, which was mostly your fault, I mean, we won't put 100% of the blame, but it was mostly your fault, and you lose that game, it is your responsibility to take all the credit. That's like normally the thing. Well, when asked if he let his team down, this is what Zach Wilson said.
As an offense, though, I mean, when you guys are only able to score 3 points, the defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No.
Yeah, and there's articles coming out today that say that the Jets' locker room defensive players are not very happy with Wilson's mind. It's one thing if you just stink, but it's another thing if you stink and you don't admit to the fact that you stink. And you know what? Zach Wilson did that. And I didn't see this coming with this player, but he's causing a major divide in the locker room. Something like that causes a big divide in the locker room. And for Zach Wilson to feel like he has every bit to say that, it just blows my mind. You know, as a quarterback, or especially a young quarterback, trying to prove yourself in the league, you would think that the most logical thing to do would be like, yes, this game's totally on me. I let my team down. I know what I did. There would have been no problem in the locker room. There would have been no problem post-game. Instead, he says, no, I didn't let the D down. What do you mean I let the D down? Idiot. Oh, what do you mean? What do we mean? We mean you couldn't even put more than 3 points on the board, and you never put any points on the board. Your kicker did. In gale force winds. I'm sorry. But it blows my mind how someone could just be like that. And nevertheless, it's causing a little interesting things down in New York. Some stuff is happening in New York. People are not happy with the young quarterback. And questions are flying. I don't think they'll do anything this year. I don't think they'll do anything next year, even though I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. The biggest free agent for next season is Jimmy Garoppolo. But again, getting ahead of ourselves. Are we, though? Are we getting ahead of ourselves? Look, I don't know. Maybe we are. But I don't think we are. I don't think we are. And I think that is a very fair statement to say that something's happening in New York and we need to watch it very carefully. With that, then let's go to the Vikings game where the Vikings faced off against the Cowboys and they only put up 3 points, but the Cowboys put up 40 points. And with this huge, gigantic win, many people wonder about the Vikings. A team that, I said it last week, and people were like, well, what do you mean, Cam? I mean, I'm sure many people of you were thinking, what are you thinking? I was like, well, I don't think he's the dude. I don't think he's the dude in Minnesota, him being Kirk Cousins. Look, he's a decent quarterback. He can get his job done. He knows what he has to do. But he's also one of those players where it's like, man, can be terrible sometimes. And, he can be just shaky in the pocket. And most times he is very, very shaky in the pocket. And, they lost by quite a bit. And one of these major takeaways from that game for me was, so what if I'm a Vikings fan? And if you're a Vikings fan, this is what I will tell you. Don't worry. You're playing the Patriots next week. Easy rebound game because the Patriots stink this year, and I'm a Patriots fan. You got the Patriots next week, Vikings. What are you worrying about? There's nothing to worry about. You're playing the Patriots. Win. No need to worry. No need to hit the panic button whatsoever if you're the Vikings fans. Tough loss, but I would not sound the alarm quite yet. With that, I wanted to talk about the state of the NFL. So far, this NFL season has been a very up and down slope for me. And I've been thinking about this for quite a long time. Is the league in a good place? I think, and this is just me, I think we've seen some pretty terrible football. I think we've seen some pretty bad games. We had 2 games that went 3-3. And all the way to the fourth quarter, and it was like 1 point, the Ravens game, 1 point won the game. The Patriots-Jets, like one score, like won the game. And then we have blowouts, 40-3. We have teams that are just not good playing against each other. And so it goes back to last week too. Last week's football, we had, and it's not just that. It's not just, all right, the scores. It's turnover after fumble after fumble. I don't know what it is this year, but maybe it's just me. And maybe this is an early take. Maybe this is just an early turn to a gradual thing that more people are thinking. But I think that the NFL is in a rocky place this year. I really do. And look, maybe it's me. But if it's not, and you agree, please comment down below, because I feel like the NFL is taking a turn for the worse. And I don't have much to back it up besides a gut feeling, but I feel like there's been some pretty terrible football right now. And hopefully that can all turn around before the playoffs kick off. But that's just me on that. All right, with all that, those are my 3 takeaways. Let's quickly head around the NF. Actually, first, let's do overreactions, reality, or underreactions. These are basically statements, and I'll tell you if I think it's an overreaction, the basic truth, or a little bit of an underreaction. And this is the first one. The Cowboys are the second best team in the NFC. And you know what? Let's take a look at this NFC here quickly and the standings that we have in the NFC. I mean, I will say that is basically reality. They beat the Vikings, who could be your arguably second best team. The Buccaneers are 500. The Seahawks are just not there. The Eagles are your best team in the NFC. So I would say that is just about truth, that they are the best team in their thing. The Vikings aren't as good as their record indicates. You know what? I'm going to say that this is reality. And I have stated this so many times in the past. I said this last week, and I'll say it again this week. Even with this loss, I think the Vikings are fraud. I think they are a fraud team. I do not think they are as good as their record indicates. I do not think Kirk Cousins is as good as their record indicates. And I think that was on full display. They've finally played some good competition. I mean, it's been a minute. I think we went through this last week too, but before the Cowboys and the Bills, they played the Commanders, who have been a not great team this year. They played the Cardinals. Okay, then they played the Dolphins, good team. Then they played the Bears and the Saints, not great teams. Then they played the Lions. I mean, we know the Lions. They played the Eagles, good team. And then they played the Packers, arguably a bad team this year. They have played mediocre competition all season. They finally play a breakout team, and I would say that that is spot on. The Vikings aren't as good as their record indicates. Justin Field is not a clutch quarterback. I will say this is an underreaction, because I feel like he is not as good. He's not good at all. He definitely is not a clutch quarterback, and I just don't think he's good. Many people are looking at him lately saying, oh yeah, he's doing great. He runs a lot. He makes great plays here and there. I don't know. The Ravens will end up as the number 1 seed in the AFC. All right, let's take a look at the AFC. We will put it. The number 1 seed in the AFC, that's going to go to the Chiefs. I would say that. I mean, the Chiefs are 8-2. And the Ravens are right there, but they're just, they're so far away from that. That's an overreaction if I've ever seen one. I'm going to give that one an overreaction. All right, let's do one more here. Tyler Heineke will lead the Commanders to the playoffs. Let's take a look at the Commanders' record, Howie. Shall we? Shall we take a look at the Commanders' record? They are 6-5. They are in a tough division. Look, their schedule upcoming includes the Falcons next week. That's a winnable game for the Commanders. I will say that. Then they got a doubleheader, 2 weekends in a row against the Giants. Those are probably going to be 2 losses for them. The Niners, I'm looking at it as a loss. The Browns could be no. I'm going to say that's an overreaction. They have a tough schedule in their future. So I'm going to say that that is an overreactions. Oh, and here is the final one, because we just kind of talked about this. The Jets have to bench Zach Wilson. Look, he's not very good, but I'll say this is slightly an overreaction. He's better than your other options on that bench. He's better than anyone else that you can find on the Jets bench. I'm sorry. As much as you may not like the guy, he's better than your other options. So I will give that one a an overreaction. All right, with that, let's go around the NFL here, folks. Week 11, it kicked off in Green Bay on Thursday night, where the Titans beat Wisconsin Packers 27-17. Then we headed to Atlanta, which was a 3-point game that the Falcons came up on top. The Eagles win by 1 against the Colts. Amazing play to end the Patriots game. 10-3, Pats win. The Commanders will beat the Texans 23-10. The Saints beat the Rams 27-20. Big win for them. That improves their season record to 4-7. The Rams dropped to 3-7. 2 pretty terrible teams playing there. The Bills etch out a win in Detroit after being moved there. They'll play again on Thanksgiving Day. The Ravens had a pretty snooze fest of a game, but they win by 13-3. They win by 10 in that game. The Lions beat the Giants. What a win for the Lions. That's 3 in a row for you Lions fans. That improves. I just lost it. That will improve the Lions' record to 4-6, and the Giants drop to 4-3. Raiders take the Broncos. The Raiders, the 3-7 Raiders against the 3-7 Broncos. After the Raiders win 22-16, that was finishing overtime. Cowboys demolish the Vikings 40-3. The Steelers lose to the Bengals by 7. 37-30 is your final there. Sunday Night Football was a great one, and the Chiefs etch out a win against the Chargers 30-27. Your Monday night game, Niners-Cardinals. Cam's predicting a Niners win there. All right, that is it for me. I'll see you on, I think, Wednesday, I think Thursday. We have Thanksgiving Day games, so we'll see you then. And I'll see you later this week. I'm going to talk a little NHL later this week. Until then, I'm Cameron Simpson. Peace out.
From the 16-yard line, Marcus Jones. Got a block from Schooler. Here he goes. He's going to try to beat the punter. He does. He's gone. And that is a touchdown.
Are you kidding me, Kevin? The way this game has gone, and that's how this thing's going to finish?